I bought this twin-turbo 300ZX for $3,800, thinking the paint and bodywork would be easy since it had a clean title. Boy, was I wrong. As we've dug into the bodywork and the paint prep, we've discovered it is anything but clean. I found multiple places with crash damage, Bondo from previous repair work, and every car's worst nightmare, rust. But today we're finally going to erase all that history and hopefully have this car better than new. And the first thing that we're going to tackle is the rust that's on the car. Surely we could go to Harbor Freight and get a cheap welder and weld in some new panels, but that wouldn't be any fun. So I decided to do a more DIY friendly fix to see if it actually lasts and to help you guys out that are working on your project car on a little bit of a budget and maybe have a little bit more limited skills. To do this, we're going to use some simple supplies that you can find at any auto parts store on Amazon. It's Bondo hair and some patch panel. Luckily, the overall chassis is in really good shape, but it did spend some time in Chicago, so there's these two rust spots. This lower one won't be seen because it'll be covered by the side skirts that we got, but this one above the wheel well will actually be seen, so we need to make sure that it'll last a lot longer. So we're gonna treat that one a little bit different. I start off by grinding it down, removing any of the weak and heavily pitted metal, and once I have it all ground down, I soak it in some Ospo. This is an acid that actually converts the rust and leaves a paint-ready surface. I cut out the body patch to roughly the size of the hole in the metal. This is just the backing for the filler, so it doesn't need to be perfect. I tuck it up under the existing metal, and then we mix up some long hair Bondo. This is where the strength is going to come from. And this doesn't have to be pretty when you spread it because we're going to sand it down and likely apply another layer. I let it dry about 20 minutes to the point where it's no longer tacky and it doesn't gum up my sandpaper. Once I had this sanded down, I applied short hair filler on top in the last remaining gaps and holes. And while I had some extra, I went ahead and applied some to the cracks in the bumper that we plastic welded in the last episode. When I was sanding this layer down, it's almost the final shaping, so I spent a lot more time here to smooth it out. And once it's all sanded down smooth, you can see how good it looks. And again, this area will be covered by the side skirts, but moving on to the section that'll actually be exposed, we're gonna treat it a little bit different. And since the rear bumper is plastic and in good shape, I don't wanna damage it or sand it down too far, so we're gonna remove it. And I have to remove it anyways, but man, this bumper was a pain. After working on my Ferrari and my Porsche, the engineering on those cars are so much better. They align easier when taking them on and off, and they use far less hardware. And the windshield wiper fluid is ironically in the back of this car here, so it had to be removed to access the bolts to get the bumper off. There must have been at least 14 or 16 bolts just along the rear holding it in, but I finally got it off. And in this area, I followed the same process of grinding it down and sprayed it with the Ospo, and then I cut a piece of body patch. I pounded it in a bit with a hammer to give some room for the filler, but before we actually fill this dent, we're going to use some Pour 15. This is actually going to encapsulate the rust, that way it doesn't spread even if it gets wet again. And then again, I used some long strand filler to fill the holes and gaps, and I sanded it down until it looked decent. And even though it's not quite smooth yet, I used some regular Bondo filler to create a nice smooth surface since this will be painted and exposed. And once that was sanded down and matched the rest of the body panels, this is ready for paint. Now, one of the most important pieces of styling on this twin-turbo 300ZX is the wing. From 1990 to 1993, Nissan did a flush mount wing on the twin-turbo 300ZX. But in 1994, they changed it to a pedestal-style wing, and I 100% love the look of the flush mount over the pedestal. But unfortunately, these wings were made from foam and they warp over time from the water that gets stuck in them. And since they're glued on, they're almost impossible to remove without destroying them. And they've been discontinued by Nissan. So I purchased a fiberglass replica from one of the only companies that make them. And at first glance, it looks really good. But when you start to look at them more closely, you'll realize that it's missing all the OEM mounting points and it's just a shell. And after test fitting the wing, I knew I was in for a challenge because it didn't sit right on the hatch at all. But before we get into fitting this wing, we have to fill in these OEM holes to keep the elements out. To prep for this, I removed the rear wiper, which you just remove the nut and then you hammer down the stud while pulling on the wiper to get it off. And since I was in here, I also pulled off the antenna cover. Then I used some 80 grit sandpaper to prep the area around the hole to make sure that the filler would stick. Then I hammered them down a little bit to make some room for the filler, and I cleaned the area with some rubbing alcohol. I'm using the same long strand fiberglass filler that I used to fill the rust holes. From there, I spread it and pressed it into the hole to make sure I had good contact. And once it dried, I sanded it down again with some of the 80 grit sandpaper until it was flush with the rest of the hatch. Now when I test fitted the wing, you can see the horrible gaps on the edges since it had a nice bow to it. and it didn't fit very well on the rear either. I went ahead and marked it with a Sharpie of where I needed to shave it down on the rear and in the center where it was sitting flush so I could lower down the sides. Then I used my sander and a Dremel to sand down the different areas, taking a little bit off at a time and then test fitting it. I repeated this process for hours, and here you can see it fits pretty decent now. And I realized I got to a point of diminishing returns. I could have spent 3 more days on this, but at the end of the day, no one will really notice, and it looks pretty good the way it is. And the only thing left was to drill the hole for the third brake light harness. The doors were pretty beat up with door dings and various dents, so I went ahead and applied a coat of filler. And you guessed it, it was time for more sanding. Now to fill the dead air while I sand down this car, we should talk about where my name Chef Joni comes from. I have an obsession with making and eating great steaks. And one of the best parts of a good steak is the sear. If you not only want to be able to make steakhouse quality steaks at home, but support my channel and help fund these builds, you can buy a perfect sear at chefjoni.us. We guarantee no torch taste or your money back, and I promise you once you start searing your steaks like this, you'll never sear it any other way again. This is not a drop shipping scheme. This is one of my small businesses where we pack and ship every order, and it helps fund all this content so you get to watch it for free. Once I had it fairly flat with the DA, I sprayed a guide coat with a black spray paint and started to block sand it. The black spray paint shows me where there are still low spots so I can keep sanding or apply more filler. From there I had my good friend Brandon come. He painted the Porsche for me and has been helping and guiding me through this whole process. If you live in Arizona and need paint or bodywork, send him a message on Instagram. The audio is messed up on these clips, but it pretty much said I did a good job where some primer will fill the rest of what we need to. I guess that's why they call it Body Man in a Can. Now since the hood I'm using is black, we have to unfortunately prep the underside so we can paint it to match the rest of the car. I started off by peeling the OEM stickers on the underside of the hood. Then I sprayed each area with some Goo Gone and began to scrape it all off with a plastic razor blade. Then I worked at getting the hood insulation off. There are 19 plastic clips that hold it on, and they're pretty much impossible to remove without breaking them since they're 30-year-old plastic, and you'll likely cause some damage to the insulation, but I think we can fix it. I don't have any panel stands, but it was trash day, and as I brought the trash cans back in, I figured it would be the perfect spot to sand the hood. I placed a towel on top, and I placed the lid on it, and it worked great. This was probably one of the worst things I had to sand. There's a lot of little ridges and corners that took a lot of time. But I went section by section with 320 grit sandpaper and got it done. If you remember when I removed the fenders, I snapped a couple of bolts, so we have to drill them out before we can get this thing to paint. I center punched the bolts so the bit wouldn't walk, and I got to drilling. I tried to keep it slow, but like every other time I drilled bolts, the bit snapped. Nonetheless, we got them drilled, so it was time to tap the holes. And since I was there, I went ahead and chased the threads on all the other holes, even though I didn't drill them. Now one of the last things I need to do is straighten up these smashed pinch welds since the fenders mount to them. I'm using this Harbor Freight vise. I just place it on the pinch welds and I tighten it down and readjust as needed. And since we're pretty much done with sanding, it's time we give this thing a wash so we can get rid of all the dust we created when we did the bodywork. I started off by rinsing down the bumpers and cleaning them with some Dawn dish soap. Now for the first time in months, I pushed the Z out of the garage since the battery was completely flat so I could wash it. And as you can see, my garage has been completely destroyed by this project, but we'll tackle that another day. I sprayed it down with my pressure washer, which was super satisfying, and then I scrubbed it with some Dawn dish soap as well. And something I've been avoiding is disassembling the interior so that I can get to the door handles and the mirrors. As I did this, I realized I should have painted the car well before I did anything else, but honestly, I probably would have scratched it by now. After I got the door panel off, I removed the mirror assembly, I tore it all apart and sanded everything down. Moving on to the door handles, which more times than not tends to be insanely hard to remove because it's such a tight spot. But ironically, the 300ZX door handles are fairly easy. Next, we actually have to tackle these T-tops. They have to be completely disassembled from the inside because the trim that goes along them is actually attached from the inside, and those plastic pieces that are all eaten up are gonna also have to be attached from the inside. I was pretty intimidated by this at first, but the process was not too difficult, and now after seeing how bad some of the rust is on the inside, I'm realizing that these needed to be completely resealed anyways, so it's a relief I'm doing it. I quickly realized I also needed to remove the bar that the T-tops click into to be able to paint it properly since it's wrapped in this vinyl. To remove this bar, the headliner unfortunately has to come down, and then it's just secured with 8 nuts. Once the nuts are out, even after 30 years, it comes off fairly easy. And now we can finally get to painting the Z. And since there's so much bodywork on this car, we're actually gonna prime pretty much the entire thing with some high build primer. We start by masking everything off. The lines don't have to be exactly perfect at this stage since we're just primering, but as we were masking it, I noticed some dark clouds rolling in, so I set up my Easy Up just in case. Once we had the Easy Up, it was time to bag the car. If you mask the car correctly, this is a fairly easy and quick step. You basically just use a razor to cut anywhere there's tape and then tape the plastic down. Now we make a little funnel and mix up some primer and hardener and thin it down a bit. And here we have Brandon actually spraying the primer. He starts off with a light coat. This is just your tack coat, but it was so satisfying to see the bodywork finally start to disappear. And as high as I felt from watching this and sniffing the paint fumes, I was quickly sobered up as it started to rain. In the beginning, the Easy Up was doing its job, but the rain kept coming harder and harder. Brandon stayed pretty calm, but as the rain picked up, we quickly realized we were in trouble. Luckily, that first coat of primer had enough time to flash, so we pushed it back in the garage. Unfortunately, we had to accept the rain delay, so this is where the painting stops. So if you want to see how this paint job comes out and what we end up doing with the primer that got rained on, make sure you subscribe, drop a like on the video, and I'll see you guys next week.